Hello, good morning, tēnā tātou katoa, no mai, haere mai. Welcome to day 2 of the Financial Services Council 2020 conference, Generations. I'll be your MC today. I'm Kirsten Young, Regional Manager, Astron Life, and I'm delighted to be broadcasting to you from our TV studio in Auckland, streaming across the country to you in your offices, homes, wherever you may be, and for that matter, wearing whatever you might be wearing. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge Richard Clippen and the amazing FSC Dream Team who have pulled this incredible event together. Yes, 2020 has brought more than its fair share of challenges. However, in a perfect nod to our theme, Generations, this team has built upon the past, pushed boundaries with their progressive blue sky thinking, grown more confident and bold at each step, regardless of what's been thrown at them. So thank you very much, team. This conference is a showcase for the financial services sector in New Zealand, known for leading edge content and speakers and for provoking debate around key issues affecting the sector. By now, you'll be familiar with the digital platform, and I hope that you've taken the time to explore all of the features and exhibitors of the conference. Yesterday's session set a high benchmark, with my personal highlight being Sinead Boucher's session, in which she shared her captivating story and taught us all about take that brave leap. So kia tupeki te toa. It was valuable to hear also both sides of the debate in the final days before the election from Minister Grant Robertson and Paul Goldsmith. Heather Duplessis-Allen did a marvellous job teasing out the key information and tackling the tricky questions with swagger. And the Change for Good panel has received plenty of outstanding feedback and truly echoed the sentiments of the generations of this conference. A huge thanks to all of our speakers from yesterday. We have another action-packed day of robust political discussions, valuable industry insight from leading experts, and a riveting closing session with New Zealand's favourite microbiologist, Dr. Susie Wiles. Today's session will continue to explore the conference themes of well-being, guardianship, and sustainability, and our speakers will share their views and predictions of how the sector and New Zealand will adapt and learn to thrive in a post-COVID world. They will discuss and analyse how we should and must learn from our past to nurture our future generations. These sessions will answer the deeper questions that will move the industry forward and leave you feeling equipped and inspired to tackle the challenges ahead. Of course, every conference is around interaction, so I encourage you all to participate in the Q&A at the end of each breakout session and on the main stage. This is your opportunity to have your questions answered and voices heard by leaders of the sector. Also, take advantage of the sponsor virtual booths, and you can have a one-on-one with a session with their representatives. While we know the content of the conference will have you glued to your screens, do remember to take time to stretch, walk around, and enjoy some fresh air between sessions. To ensure you don't miss out on anything or any of the wisdom shared in the program, all sessions are recorded and will be available on the portal within a day of the session ending. You will be able to access all of the recorded sessions for an extended period following the conference. And if you need any assistance during the conference, please email events@fsc.org.nz. And now, without further ado, we begin day 2 of the FSC Generations Digital Conference. Made by the sector, for the sector, the conference has something for everyone. Now, the focus of the conference moves to the main platform of political and regulatory speakers. But first, we hear from the Financial Services Council Conference Charity Partner, Voices of Hope. Voices of Hope aims to create and implement change for mental health, whilst providing hope through the voices of those who have lived experience. Through advocacy, campaigning, and storytelling, Voices of Hope produces strategy and content with intent to influence global, communal, and individual change. Voices of Hope are a not-for-profit organisation, and all donations make a huge difference to the work that they do and are greatly appreciated. So please take the time to visit their page and learn more about their work. To make a donation, please visit their Give a Little fundraising page. So please welcome Voices of Hope founders Jazz Thornton and Genevieve Mora.
Well, thank you so much, FSC, for having us yet again. For those of you who don't know, we have been the charity partner for FSC for the last 3 years, the very first time being in 2017, and your continued support has been absolutely incredible. I will tell you a little bit about that later on, but first of all, you've seen my face for the last 3 years, but not the other half of Voices of Hope, so I want to introduce to you Genevieve Mora.
Hello everyone, I am so honoured to be here today. I've watched Jazz speak for the last 3 years now, and it's always so inspiring hearing Jazz speak. Although I know her story so well, I'm constantly inspired. So yeah, awesome to be here. My personal experience is with OCD, anxiety, and anorexia nervosa. I was very unwell as a teenage girl, which comes into the why Voices of Hope started. So both Jazz and I have fought our own battles with mental illness, different battles, but together we cover quite a lot, and wanted to create something that we wish we'd had when we were unwell. So we combined our passions of hope, storytelling, and media, and started interviewing people and sharing stories through the voices of those with lived experience. So it's an honour to be here today. I felt a lot of shame for what I went through. I think there's a lot of stigma attached to mental illness. I was embarrassed, I was scared about labels, I was scared about being judged, and sharing my story was a big thing for me. So even to sit here today is pretty massive. It's taken me a long time to get here. But if I've learned anything throughout this journey, it's that when someone shares their story, it allows others to feel safe to do the same. There's a quote I love, and it's, "Your story could be the key to unlocking someone else's prison." So again, I'm very thankful to be here, so thankful for FSC and all the support they've provided us over the last 3 years. I'm going to hand back to Jazz, who's going to tell you more about the impact you guys have had on us.
It's honestly so cool to be sharing the stage with you today, especially after it has been 3 years where you have really only seen this side of Voices of Hope, but we would not have exist at all if it wasn't for Genevieve, so thank you. But like I said at the beginning, the impact that FSC has been able to have on our work as a charity has been significant. Before I continue, I'm gonna read an email that I read actually in the first year, and to give you context, we now get thousands upon thousands of these every week. The email goes like this. "Hi there, I am a mother. It has taken me a few weeks to gather myself and send this email as I haven't found the words to express to you. On March 1st, my 15-year-old daughter walked into my room crying, suicide note in hand, and told me that she needed help. As she wrote the letter, she went on Facebook to message her best friend goodbye. As she logged into her laptop, at the very top of her newsfeed was a video that one of her friends had shared. That video was one of yours. She clicked on it, watched it, and suddenly realised that she couldn't take her life and that she needed to fight. So instead of going to the rope, she came to my room and told me about everything, about the bullying, how depressed she was, but that now following that video, she felt like there was hope for her." That for me and for Jen has always been our why, and that video that we got to create actually came as the result of funding that we received from AMP, who were the very first people to ever invest in us as a charity, and to know that the impact that AMP was able to have was not only for us to create content, but literally saved a life, was incredible, and we now get that kind of message every day. And what's really, I guess, kind of heart-wrenching to me is that these people that are reaching out to us are, you know, they're saying often that they feel like they can't talk to their parents, they feel like they can't talk to their school counsellor, and so they're reaching out to us, who are really kind of strangers on the internet, but the reality is that they connect because of the way that we choose to share our stories. And for those of you who maybe haven't heard my story before, I grew up in a very small town in the South Island, very, very broke family. We didn't have anything, and when I was 3 years old, my life kind of turned around when I was abused for the very first time. And throughout the rest of my life, I battled severely with mental illness. The first time I tried to take my life, I was 12, and that led to then, you know, multiple attempts. I ended up in psych wards and really battling this thing. by myself for many, many years. And so, like Jen said, being able to take that experience and create voices of hope and create this platform that we now have has been something we're so passionate about. And that has also been because we know that, when I was sitting in that psych ward as a 16-year-old girl bawling my eyes out, I remember just sitting there researching stories, trying to find something, anything, that someone had been through the same thing, someone had got through it, how did they do it? But I didn't find anything. And I felt like I was the only one. I felt like I was the only one going through this. I felt like I was the only one experiencing this because it just wasn't being talked about. And so the decision for us to now speak and share our stories, not just here in New Zealand, but around the world, we've seen global impact since the last time that I was here at the FSC. I've addressed the world leaders at the UN General Assembly, speaking about the area of mental health and launching the world's first global mental health campaign. We've got to sit down with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and talk about what's happening in mental health and that kind of sphere. And then tomorrow we go to a high school and we speak there. So the range of work that we get to do is we're so very humbled and very thankful for each and every day. But we also know that this is the kind of work we can only do because of people like you and because of people like FSC who have got behind us every year and enabled us to really create content that saves lives. And Jen, I don't know about you, but the messages that we get every single day
are huge. And I mean, we often say we don't do this work to be thanked, but there's nothing better than getting a message that says, thank you for saving my life. And I know for someone that really struggled to be open and honest about her past, being able to do that and something good coming from such a crappy time is just the best thing in the world.
Absolutely. And also, speaking of, we're really up here to try and get you guys to maybe donate to us. We are the charity partner, and it's a lot easier when you're in the room and I can make you all cry. But I can't do that via cameras. But the reality is this is the work that we do every single day. We don't do it for ourselves. We do it for your kids. We do it for your colleagues. We do it for those around you who are struggling. Statistics say that 70% of people will at one point in their life have a suicidal thought, and 1 in 4 battle with mental illness. So the subject that we're dealing with, this isn't just something, maybe someone that you know might has it. Someone that you know is dealing with mental illness, the statistics would say. So for us doing this work, that is our why, and the now hundreds of thousands of messages that we have received from the impact of our work really came, and I'm gonna throw this out there, from the very first people who ever believed in us back in 2016 was AMP. If it wasn't for them,
who knows where
who got in behind us, I don't know. I don't know the lives that would have been impacted. At that point, we were two very young girls, not really knowing what we were doing, but we just had a desire for change, and we've been able to see that around the world, which has been incredible. I've had permission to share this story. I asked this person a few weeks ago, but after the first ever time that I spoke here at FSC, I had someone come up to me who was saying that they felt like they were really struggling at that point, and they had been having these suicidal thoughts, and they didn't understand why, because on paper their life looked perfect. On paper they had the wife, they had the kids, they had the house, they had the jobs. Why were they feeling like this? And I remember talking to this person and going, this mental health doesn't discriminate. It's okay to feel like this, but you have to ask for help. About a month later, I got an email from him, and he had told his wife what was going on, and he was in therapy now. And that man said that he was so thankful that day FSC allowed me to stand on that stage, because he didn't know the decision he was going to make afterwards had he not been opened up to the discussion about mental health. And that is the importance of speaking. That's not just for young people, but it's for your friends, it's for your colleagues, it's for the people in the room. Everyone knows someone who is struggling, and that's evident from, the last time, even last year when we spoke, the amount of people coming up to us that had a sister or a brother or an auntie or a friend. This affects everyone.
Everyone. I think that's what we talk about. As I said before, when someone shares their story, it allows others to feel safe to do the same, and we see that every single day. As Jazz said, we have a huge number of people coming forward to us every single day because they feel safe in telling us, and it's such a privilege to be in that position where people come forward and say, hey, look, I'm really struggling, and we're able to say, well, you can go here or you can go here. There is help out there available for you.
And because you guys are all numbers guys, I'm going to give you just some straight facts about the reach that we've been able to have since we first started and since FSC have been backing us for the last 3 years. We have been able to go into 8 countries, physically go into 8 countries. We have collaborated with organisations from around the world, like I said earlier, spoken at the UN General Assembly. I've released a book. We have another book coming in January. A TV show has come out, a movie has come out. In our inboxes, there is hundreds of thousands of messages. Our reach has been over 55 million. People have engaged in our content in the last year alone. So the numbers for you, for us, as long as one person is reached, then that's everything to us. But we also know that this impact is something that we are very humbled to have and very honoured to have, and we get to do so because of people like you.
I think also the fact that Voices of Hope runs predominantly on social media and online means we can reach a huge number of people from all over the world. And I think we can all agree that social media is not going anywhere. And so being able to use it in a right way, an inspiring way, in a hopeful way is such a privilege.
Absolutely, 110%. So, we just want to say thank you to FSC. Like Kirsten said earlier, if you do want to donate to us, then you can do so on our Give a Little page. We appreciate literally anything. It enables us to do the work that we do. Jen and I volunteered for this for pretty much most of the time that we started Voices of Hope. We did this all voluntary, and we've only recently stepped into this being our full-time job because we've seen the need and we want to do more in the next year. We plan to do a lot more campaigns. We're doing a lot of corporate stuff. We're wanting to do workplace campaigns and school campaigns. And also in January, I don't even know if I'm allowed to announce this yet, but hey, FSC, you've got it first. I'm going around and I'm going to be telling the global story of mental health for the very first time as well, where we're going across 15 countries looking at what's happening. So we've got massive plans, and we would be really, really honoured and excited if you would be willing to support us with that.
And hopefully we get to come back next year and update you on what we've managed to do so far.
Why the heck not?
Why not?
But thank you so much, FSC. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I feel like we all need to clap right now. You two are just absolutely astounding. And I guess from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you for the connections that you're making and the across all generations. It's just powerful stuff. Thank you. So again, thank you, Jazz and Genevieve. You guys have had a huge year, book releases, films, and a myriad of other high-profile engagements. You are truly inspiring leaders of that next generation, and we appreciate all the work that you do. Your words are a timely reminder during this challenging times to take a moment to check in on ourselves and those around us. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and continuing to have these types of conversations will keep it at the forefront of our minds.